Greetings and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the 1993 release by Dionne Warwick, Friends Can Be Lovers. Lovers Can Be Friends. So I love that Dionne right now is all over Twitter. She's the queen of Twitter. She's interacted with a lot of people, a lot of younger fans, including Chance the Rapper. That's kind of how this whole thing began. And it's just great that she's trending and really well loved by a lot of just the world. Like, she's really made a comeback through Twitter and has even recording new music with Chance the Rapper. And I mean, it brought her this new opportunity and a new legacy of fans, I think, or a new group of fans. And it's really cool to see that because Dionne has definitely had her ups and downs in the industry. And we'll talk about that. But this is definitely one of her less known. It's a more obscure record. And I wanted to talk about it because it's so obscure. It was a flop. It did not chart. It was not critically acclaimed necessarily. It didn't have any hit singles, and Dionne would later disown it retroactively, publicly, like in the public with her book. And it's strangely not a very controversial record or anything. It's not embarrassing at all. In fact, I think it's a very solid record. I would actually say it's her best record. However, it is extremely unpopular. It is on iTunes, like it's easy to access, I suppose. However, definitely not compared to her other, more better known albums. I'm sure she has like more obscure albums, like her 70s albums with Warner Brothers, but I think overall this one is just not very well known. And even the fan base, they're a little divided on what they think about it. There's a lot of fans of it, and there's a lot of people who they don't hate it, but they don't necessarily praise, sing its praises all the time. But I think it has a cool little backstory and just things around it. The Dionne era of the 90s, the early 90s, I think is a rather fascinating tale. So we'll get into that. Little backstory on Dionne. She had been singing since the 50s and gained a lot of commercial success in the 1960s for about 4 or 5 consecutive years. She sang songs written by Hal David and Burt Bacharach. They were a duo of songwriters, and she had a lot of pop crossover hit singles, massive hit singles, such as Do You Know the Way to San Jose and I'll Never Love This Way Again, which everyone's heard both of those songs. Say a Little Prayer, which is probably one of her most favorite songs. Anyway, she had a lot of success. She never got as big as say Diana Ross or Aretha Franklin in the 60s. However, she just had a slew of really big hit singles and really got a worldwide exposure and fame. It wasn't just American based. She really had the crossover appeal, including internationally. And in the 70s, she signed a deal with Warner Brothers. And this was with the idea, or I guess contractual idea, that Burt Bacharach and Hal David would come along with her, and they did, because they were responsible for writing a lot of these hit singles before. So she signs the deal, they make one album together. It doesn't really go anywhere, but either way, they're leaving. So she was on her own and being sued by Warner Brothers for breach of contract when it wasn't her fault. Meaning she had to sue the people behind all her hit singles prior in court to have any kind of justice, because she had been kind of screwed over. Thus, someone's got to pay for it, and she did not take that thing down. She went for it. She recorded a slew of albums afterwards that were drastically a change in direction. They were more R&B based albums, such as Tracks of a Cat, Love at First Sight, which both of those I love, I adore. Then Came You, which includes the #1 single, Then Came You, her only #1 single actually. It's bizarre. And after none of them did well at all, she signed with Arista Records with Clive Davis, and he kind of gave her this crossover appeal act that was very much mirrored by Whitney Houston. And it's weird because you look at Whitney Houston, she really did emulate Dionne a lot, and they were related. Auntie Dionne and Whitney, they're related. And there was actually some speculation. By the way, this is complete speculation, conspiracy. There's no proof. I'm not saying it's true. That Dionne was Whitney's mom, as Dionne they said Dionne would have had a secret child at the same time to focus on her career. She gave it to her sister. Now, vocally, it makes sense. Dionne is very talented vocally. Whitney is very talented vocally. Okay. their mannerisms, their attitude, and their heart. Like they both have like really big hearts, and there's charming, loving people. People can really love Whitney Houston. You can really love Dionne. They're both like family members, you know, like to everybody. They're just so sweet and fun. And yeah, it's speculated that was the like, but it's weird because Dionne has other kids. Like she's not. It wasn't just Whitney, if that's true. So that doesn't really make too much sense. But I guess if she wanted to focus on her career at the time, which that would have been in her early career, it does kind of make sense because yeah, Whitney and Dionne have a lot in common. So, however, I mean they're still related, so it's very possible for them to be related with that and still kind of share those talents and such. I don't have any opinion on that at all. I don't. Probably not. It's probably not true. I guess I do have an opinion. Anyways, so after she came back with Clive Davis, who kind of had this pre-Whitney career idea where you have a crossover artist who does pop and R&B, it has both audiences and such. Dionne had some big, major comeback success with her album that she came back with, Dionne. And it had 2 hit singles, Deja Vu and I Know I'll Never Love This Way Again. Massive hits, both won her Grammys. I mean, she's an amazing vocalist, and she won for pop and R&B in the same year. She followed that album up with a slew of albums in the early 80s of various success. She was on a show called Solid Gold, which is kind of like new singers or whatever could perform their new song, and she would kind of be the MC of the whole thing and kind of be the host of the show. Like, and here we have Madonna, and here we have LaToya Jackson, you know, the biggest stars. And but she also focused on music a lot. She had a lot of hits in the 80s. Her biggest probably was That's What Friends Are For, which was done with Elton John and Stevie Wonder and Gladys Knight. It's really big hit. That's What Friends Are For. There's not like a certain time, I guess, when her popularity dipped. However, after that, she did an album, Reservations for Two, in I think 87, and had a single, Love Power, which was a pretty big hit single. However, the album didn't like blow up, and it wasn't a massive hit like. And she had known some ups and downs even with Clive. And after the album, Dionne sings what's his name? Cole Porter. Sorry, I cannot think of his name. Dionne sings Cole Porter. It did okay, but it wasn't a monster success. They kind of wanted to put Dionne in a more modern space, and with this album is how they did that. But the album kind of crosses over itself. So you have Dionne making new music. There's a lot of R&B, 90s influence, New Jack Swing, and not hip hop, but I guess like light hip hop, very light hip hop, very light hip hop. You have those modern sounds, but it was her reunion with Burt Bacharach for another time. They had worked together on the Love Power. And then Hal David did not come back. I'm sorry. It was Burt Bacharach who wrote a song for her on the album that was included. And it was kind of like the reunion. She also worked with Luther Vandross on the record and Whitney Houston. It was their first commercial duet. And yeah, it was, I think they probably thought it was going to be a pretty big event, pretty big for Dionne, basically. And it was given some promotion. And when I say some, there's not a lot. That gets into my kind of reason this album is so interesting. And it is on its own. Even like just listening to it, it's really like it's a cool listen. However, maybe not backstory, but the side story was when Dionne was recording this album, when she released it, she was the spokesperson for the Psychic Friends Network, which was a phone number you would call and talk to a psychic, and they would give you a reading over the phone. And they would have these commercials on TV. They're usually about 30 minutes, and they were like these long commercials, and Dionne was the star of them. And she started, and I think they did a lot of years together. So she wasn't a psychic. She was just the spokesperson, and she would be included in the infomercials as the host, And they would typically either speak to somebody new, and this person would get a reading live on TV, or a celebrity would pop in and get a reading. Or they would pick someone from, or they would do a reenactment of someone's story. So if someone said, oh yeah, I called the psychic network, they said this, and then X, Y, and Z happened, and what they said became true, and this is how, then they kind of reenact that in like a dramatization. I guess to make you really want to call and like get the, and get the backstory of it. It's really like a weird concept. We don't really have that anymore. I mean, psychics still exist, and you can still call a psychic hotline, but like, it was just a weird, like they were all over. Like Miss Cleo is a good example. Miss Cleo, you would call Miss Cleo, and she would give you your future on the phone, and like your bill would be extremely high because these are very expensive. And most of the time, I mean, never, I'm sorry, you would never talk to the psychic on TV. You would talk to some random just person at their house, probably like in the middle of the US. You would be speaking to someone, oh yeah, your future is, I see a man in your life, like really vague stuff. And Dionne was basically like, she was, like she would talk to the psychics, and she would talk to the people in the audience. She would talk to the celebrities. And I remember one time I watched these. So there's this woman who comes up and she says, hi, and it's like, Dionne's, hi, what's your name? She's like, my name is Tingle. And Dionne's like, well, what's your real name? She's like, oh, well, and then Dionne cuts her off and says, I have a nickname too, but we won't discuss that. Nobody asked Dionne anything. And she just said like, okay, I am not telling you my nicknames. Nobody asked. It's just a really bizarre experience to watch these, because they go to like the Mall of America, and there's all these soap stars, and they're like, they're getting sorry, they're getting their fortunes read. And then they're talking about it. And then you have like Vicki Lawrence. She comes on and and she gets a psychic reading. I mean, there's just all these psychic readings all the time, and reenactments, and it's just a really bizarre thing to watch. It's I think it's, and okay, so the promotion comes from, the promotion comes from, there were 2 mini clips that were filmed for the song some Friends Can Be Lovers, and they were like included in these infomercials, or as like commercials on their own, but like tied into the psychic network. So there was one where she was like in not a dining hall, but like a concert hall, and she's singing it, like I think she's walking through the stairs, or the walkway basically to the stage. And then there's another video where she's like wearing this like panther sweater, the very like grandma sweater. Well, cool grandma. And she's like in a cafe around people eating, and then comes out to the street. Like, these are the horrible videos. These are horrible videos. Like, I'm so glad she didn't. But it would be funny if she would have actually done it like as a full video. And you could hear the song Friends Can Be Lovers in the background. And then there's not a lot of promotion from this era. She did the Vicki Lawrence syndicated talk show. She performs Friends Can Be Lovers. She pretty much performed Friends Can Be Lovers as a main single, although the first single was Where My Lips Have Been, a song that she regrets, and I'm not sure why. But the album did not do well, and it's funny because retroactively in her book, she said the album wasn't very good, that she was so accustomed to higher standards. And she literally insulted Lisa Stansfield, saying, these songs were fine, but you should have sang them. Because Lisa Stansfield wrote for the record, and Dionne was not pleased with the results. It didn't do well, and I'm sure she was thinking it would. So I guess she was peeved, and she really just she didn't like insult Lisa Stansfield. She just like let her know like, hey, that didn't work for me. And I'm used to basically saying I'm used to like higher standards. Lisa only wrote one song for her, the Friends Can Be Lovers. She didn't do Where My Lips Have Been. But Dionne said that My Lips Have Been was an embarrassing song for her. I mean, Where My Lips Have Been. It's kind of a weird thing for Dionne to say and sing about. But yeah, the album I think is good. It's very fresh sounding, very 1993, but in the best way. Like it has like elements of R&B and pop, and it's a pretty balanced record. There's not too much up tempo, there's not too much down tempo. It's all very fresh sounding, very easy breezy. It's a cohesive album where but it is a little bit more different from other my cohesive records where I talk about the albums all this whole album sounds the same. Not really here. I mean, there's more variance, I would say, than the typical like diverse record, which kind of leaves a little bit of room for more filler. But I think she works with it pretty well. It's not by any means a flop listen. But yeah, I think the album deserves its due because there's not a lot of fandom behind it. Even the fans, like I said, they haven't come to some kind of agreement of, do we like the record? Do we not like the record? So I do want to talk about the album. Like I said, it did not chart. It was a flop album. It did not make the top 200. It did get on the R&B charts, but very low. And the single Where My Lips Have Been also went on the R&B charts. It peaked at number 95 on the R&B charts and did not chart at all on radio or pop or the top 100. So yeah, not a great time. And she was getting a lot of like late night talk flap for the Psychic Network, and she finally decided to quit after a child in the airport comes up to her and says, "Oh, aren't you the psychic lady?" And after 30 years in the business, May's massive success with all these Grammys and awards, she's known for a psychic hotline. So that's when she quit. But she did do a lot of commercials with them, and they're quite amusing. Definitely check out Dionne Warwick's Psychic Hotline. There's even like a video that you can buy from the company, and they would send it to you, and it's like a do it yourself, like become a psychic, like not a board game, but like like how to become a psychic basically. And order this, and it has Dionne on the cover. It's a purple box. It was just that was a bizarre era. I mean, LaToya had hers. LaToya had a Psychic Network. I wish those would come back. I think, but that's kind of like gone with time. And I mean, yeah, but that'd be cool. Like if we had a Psychic Network come back, that'd be cool. I'm just surprised it exists at all, but it would be cool if it came back. Anyways, let's talk about the album, the song by song. It's, I guess, the genre R&B pop, and we'll go from there. I just want like a intro. First song is called Sunny Weather Lover. This was the song done with Burt Bacharach. It's very catchy, very mature sounding, well produced. It's a ballad. It's kind of there's a tinge of sadness to it, like Sunny Weather Lover, like someone who's just there when things are good. It's a I guess like what do you call it, like a fair weather lover, fair weather friend, and basically someone, they want to leave, but she's saying, give me a chance to make up, kind of stuff. Like she doesn't want it to end, and it's just a beautifully written song, very catchy, breezy, beautiful. Like it matches the album cover, just the sky blue and the white clouds and the white dress and your flowing hair. Like, yeah, it's a great song. I was kind of surprised because I mean, the early 90s were really like a time for like a lot of filler and very dated production. But no, this is starting off pretty good, and I've heard it before. Like, I mean, I've heard the album many times, but I did, when the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. It's there's nothing really to be ashamed here. I mean, considering she had other albums that didn't do that well, but Age of Miracles. Well, this one was done by, was it Eastman? I don't know anything about him. It's probably the weakest on the album. Age of Miracles is just, it's pure cheese. It's not even like Lifetime for Women network level. It's just pure cheese. I mean, it's about love, but I don't know, in the age of miracles, like, it's just really cheesy. I'm sure some of you love it, like the Dionne fans. I'm just not a fan of it. It's It's so cheesy. Like, I mean, it's not bad. Like, it's obviously I'm getting some entertainment from it, but yeah, it's definitely one of the weaker songs, more bland and plays it very safe. Yeah, let's move on. The next song was the first single, "Where My Lips Have Been," which was, like I said, a single in the U.S. Not really heavily promoted. I never heard it on radio. I never knew about it. There was no video. They just didn't care. That to me is weird. Like, why don't you're bringing in Burt Bacharach? You have other artists on it. The sound is very modern. Why is there zero promotion from Arista? Like, come on. Like, you guys, you made so much money from Bodyguard. You could have helped Dionne out. Where My Lips Have Been is obviously about something. She's talking to a man she desires and saying, basically in her thoughts, where her lips have been. They've been everywhere. They've been all over him. Which is really weird coming from Dionne. She had never really sung a sexual song. I mean, maybe that Love at First Sight has some, like, one thing on my mind. Yeah, like, that song is kind of implying, like, a hookup type situation. But where my lips have been, that's pretty graphic. Like, I mean, I can't even imagine, like, anyone. I mean, like, I don't think Madonna would sing a song like that, or Janet. Maybe Janet. No, I'm just kidding. But then you have Dionne, who at that point was not a, like, new star. She was, like, an established star. And anyway, the song is very, like, jazzy. It has a great, like, Kenny G saxophone and very smooth R&B and really cool sounding. Where my lips have been. It's a bizarre song coming from Dionne. I can see why retroactively she disses it. But yeah, I think it's a great song. I mean, I don't know. There's no part of you that they don't know. Everywhere. They've been everywhere. Ew. No, I'm just kidding. That's a weird thing, especially Dionne, like, because even Madonna, like, at her sexiest, wouldn't say that. I don't think anybody would. Oh, Dionne, you're too funny. The next song after that is "Friends Can Be Lovers." Now, this is the one that Lisa Stansfield wrote for her, and then her team produced it. Dionne also said she didn't like this song, and that Lisa should have kept it for herself. I think it's her best song. I think it is Dionne Warwick's best song. It has a very easy breezy drum beat. It's extremely catchy. Friends can be lovers. I can't sing. And I like the idea of, like, basically it's like the idea of a fuck buddy. Like, she just really wants to be this friend's fuck buddy. Friends can be lovers. Lovers can be friends. I don't know. It's great. She sang it live a bunch of times. She sang on the Vicki Lawrence show and a lot of, like, worldwide shows, like international shows, not worldwide. International shows, she would sing the song. It was not really promoted in the U.S. I don't think it was a single in the U.S. It was released on a single, I think, in the U.K., but not in the U.S. Although she did perform it, I guess, to promote the record. And it's Where My Lips Have Been, she probably was like, I am not singing that song. What else do you have? Because I am not singing that song live. She never did. But Friends Can Be Lovers is great. They kind of remixed it for some of the live performances with a little bit more of a modern drum beat and bass line. However, the majority of it was the album version, and she sings it live. It does a really good job. It's just a very smooth, almost acid jazz type drum beat. Great lyrics. Her vocals soar. She also takes character she doesn't take character. She has taken on a character. The sensual aspects are there. It's just a wonderful song. I love it. It's one of my favorite songs of all time, and I think it's her best song ever. And I don't like that she doesn't like it so much. She really hates it. Like, she disses it, and she just Lisa Stansfield. Basically, Lisa was on Arista as well, and I think what happened was she told Clive Davis, "Hey, I would love to write for Dionne." And seeing how Lisa had written a bunch of hit singles for Arista, they were like, okay, let's do it. So they had her write one song and then give it to Dionne. I'm not sure how it works. I think basically Clive would say, hey, you got to record this. It's too good. You have to. And then other songs, I'm sure Dionne's like, well, I want this song, you know. I don't quite know how it works with her career, but that's what I would assume, because she doesn't like the song. Although it's possible she did like it, but since it flopped, she is embarrassed and wants to talk bad about it because she doesn't want to be associated positively with that song. So, but yeah, it's a great song. It was written with by Lisa Stansfield and same team from Affection and Real Love and such. So it definitely sounds like a Lisa Stansfield song. She does background vocals for the song. It's just amazing. It's just like the drum beat is some of my favorite drum beat ever. I could talk about it forever, but it's really good. And then she did use this for the promos of the Psychic Friends Network, and you can find those on YouTube still. They're still on YouTube, where they show the little clips of the song, and she's lip syncing to it like a music video basically. But they're so short. It's like a 10-second clip, and then they go to the actual like, oh hey, I'm looking for a psychic. Who do I call? You know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a great album. Sorry, it's a great song. My favorite song by her, and I see no reason why she should be ashamed of it. The next song is Love Will Find a Way, which was done with Whitney Houston as a duet. To my knowledge, is their only recorded duet that's commercially released. It's a great song. It's not my favorite. It's definitely a little bit of a step down from Friends Can Be Lovers. However, I do see it has a lot of merit to it. It's a ballad, like a tender pop ballad, a little R&B flavored, and it's just about love will find the way, and each time you pray, and like, it's a little cheesy, but it works. And Whitney does great duets, and this is no exception. It's a great duet between her and Dionne, and like, if you heard of the album, it's most likely for that, because I don't think anybody heard about Friends Can Be Lovers or Where My Lips Have Been. Like, hey, you know that song Where My Lips Have Been by Dionne Warwick? Where can I find it? No, it's definitely the duet between her and Whitney that is the draw of this record. So yeah, but Love Can or Love Will Find a Way, which is one of my favorite song titles. I think it's a cool title because it can either be a really cool song or a bad song. Like D3, have you heard of D3? They have a really good song called Love Will Find a Way. It's very chill, D3. And then Danny Minogue has a song called Love Will Find a Way. It's really good. But then you have other songs, Love Will Find a Way, and it's usually like cheesy, like Christina Aguilera's, her debut. Yeah. But this song, okay, so this song isn't super interesting, but it does pair Whitney with Dionne, so that's kind of enough, because they do a really good job with it. Yeah. It's just one of the, I wouldn't want them duetting with Where My Lips Have Been, so. The next song, which starts at the side B, is Much Too Much, which Dionne actually took on this and said much too much afterwards. It was written by Diane Warren, but it was produced by Lisa Stansfield's producers. So it has a very similar sound. It even has Lisa doing background vocals, or whispering, basically. I love you much too much. Which is very odd. It's a very weird thing to listen to. Much Too Much is just like, love you much too much. I love you much too much. It's a good song, but that's pretty lazy songwriting. I love you much too much. That's pretty, it's pretty lazy. But it's cute, it works. But much too much. But Dionne would say like, what did she was on the Psychic Network, and she said that blank was much too much. Oh, the mall. That mall was much too much. Like, and then when she's at the mall, she's like, we're coming to you live from the Mall of America. She actually does it better. I don't do a good job. I don't. I'm sorry. That was probably cringeworthy. But the mall. I'm not doing it again. Yeah. So, much too much. This is a good song. This is like, again, like the sleek R&B, kind of like mid-tempo. It's really a cool song, and I love it. I think it's one of her best songs. Much Too Much. Yeah, she's basically saying, I'll never go. How could you think I'd ever let go? I'll never go. Love you much too much. I love you much too much. Yeah, it's not lyrically Diane Warren's strongest song. But actually, it is my favorite song by Diane for Dionne, and one of my favorite Diane Warren songs. I'm serious. I think it's good. I think it's good. Till the End of Time. This one is one of my favorites. It wasn't written by anybody like big. It says like Daniel Elliott and Terry Steele. So I don't know anything about them. It's very not mid-tempo. It's like an up-tempo New Jack Swing song, only a little bit more, a lighter production. It's not as hard as New Jack Swing, and it's kind of beachy sounding, or like kind of like the album cover, just like easy breezy, flowy. Such a great song. It's has a lot of attitude and sass, and a lot of like fierceness, ferocity, and yeah, she's like, I'm gonna give you all my love. Come get it, come get it. Yeah, like it's this is yeah. If you think about it, this album is like funny. It's weird. It's like I think it was made for someone much younger. They're like, oh hey, there's Dionne. She'll do it. Yeah, that's a weird. I love the song Till the End of Time. It's a really good song, really good dance, funky song, very airy and flowy and breezy, and just really chill, really just amazing, have fun song. You know, it just it just makes everything great. You know, does that make sense? Just makes everything happy. So, the next song is "The Woman That I Am." Sorry. It's just a funny record. I don't know why. The Woman That I Am. Basically, she's the woman that she is will never let you go. She's gonna stay around. Yeah, so it's kind of like not a tender ballad, but it's more of like a sexy ballad. Like it is R&B influenced. Oh, there's Jade. Hello, Jade. It is more R&B influenced. It's not quite as pop as like the other ballads, but it definitely is a slower song. Come on, Jade, honey. Come on. All right. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Come on, Jade. Come on, honey. All right. She's not moving. So, yeah, The Woman That I Am is a good song. It's definitely part of the stronger middle portion. Like, you have Much Too Much, Till the End of Time, and The Woman That I Am. All of them are really great songs, and they're kind of very cohesive feeling, and sonically, they're their own things, but they blend well. They have like a common thread of like just a smoothness and freshness and sexiness, you know? So, yeah, just all great radio friendly, but they weren't hits, but they were definitely like great songs that never really got a chance. But yeah, she's doing a really good job with this material. She's much younger. Sorry, she's much older than I think this was made for, but it really she really makes it work, you know, with her talent, and she can really just play any character with her voice. Like she can play like a kid, like she just has such a talent to, like Whitney, to read a song no matter if she wrote it or not, which she wasn't really a massive songwriter. And then that she's able to use her talent and like comprehension skills to kind of really make any song hers. And it really shows. It really shows here. The next song is Fragile, which was produced by Dionne, and it was written by Sting, and it includes background vocals by Luther Vandross. And it's a really good song. It's slightly different. It's a little more mature than the rest of the record, but it's a cover of Sting. He didn't write it for her. But it's really catchy, really good. It's on and I can't sing anymore. I can't sing in the first place. But yeah, Fragile, it's definitely slower, more mature, but it's still fun, pretty song, really catchy, and yeah, definitely like a gem of the record. It definitely keeps the momentum going, you know. So like you've had all these songs in a row, and they're all really good, and this one keeps that going. So I mean, good job. The last song is Icing at Dawn. This one is a little bit more spiritual, and it definitely is, I think, the most mature on the album. It's not my favorite. Like, I kind of think the album maybe should have started. Well, no, you don't want to start an album with Age of Miracles. I would have ended the album with like Age of Miracles and Icing at Dawn together, because then it would be like, okay, it's really getting more mature as we go, and we're done with the kid songs, or not kid songs, but but yeah, I think that this song is just maybe not for me so much. I mean, it's not a gospel song, but it's definitely more mature, more spiritual, and a little bit more what's the word? It's a little more straight-laced, I guess, and beautiful, classy, elegant. So things that I don't like that. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's not bad. It's just not a bad song. I just, compared to the rest of the record, it doesn't really fit with it, I guess. But it makes sense that she'd probably pick this song to end with. Like, okay, I want to go out with some kind of credibility after singing about where my lips have been. So yeah, it's a good song. It's just not necessarily my favorite on the record. So we've talked about all these songs. From what I can tell, there's no unreleased material from this album or any canceled projects. It sounds like it was just an album that wasn't given much of a chance, and later on she went to kind of speak poorly about it. The vinyl was very rare, only available in Korea and Brazil. I have a Korean version, sounds great. I don't know about Brazilian vinyl too much, but the lady who sold me this was super nice, thank you. It's a pretty rare vinyl. It's currently out of print. You can't find it like at stores. It is on iTunes, the album, so you can definitely give it a listen easy, and you can look up her performances on YouTube. If you like this album, let me know, or if you don't like it, let me know, and let me know why. I certainly think it's strong, and I really appreciate its uniqueness and form and such, and I really think it's her best. And I really think it deserves better. And Dionne, if you're watching, because Dionne watches my channel, I'm sure. I love this record. You should be proud. You really made it work. And I love this era. I still love the Psychic Network hotline. I think it's a great, I respect that kind of stuff. I know that sounds weird and bizarre. You're thinking, ugh. Because I'm sure Dionne's not listening, but to whoever is out there, like, it is cool. It is a cool, it's a cool thing to be part of. I mean, I know that maybe like the public in general made it a joke, but for me, it's just a really cool, bizarre, random thing, and that's always the best, I think, when you can talk about that in the context of their career. It's always cool to have these little what, like, why? I love that, and if you don't, the careers just aren't necessarily as interesting, and not so much flops, but like literal, like, bizarre decisions. I like that kind of stuff, and that's definitely what this album is. And the Psychic Friends Network. So, but let me know in the comments what you think about the record. Let me know what your favorite songs are, if you've ever heard of it, if you haven't, and if you haven't heard it and you check it out, let me know your first impression. I would love to know first impressions from one of my 8 viewers. And or my 8 fans, I'm sorry. I have more than 8 viewers, but I have 8 fans, and that's it. Well, thank you to my 8 fans. And yeah, check this album out. There's not much to the album cover. I mean, the cover's cool. I love the cover. The back has nothing. That's what I mean. There's not a lot to the album artwork. And then I have the sheets. The sheet, it's in English, the lyric sheet. But on the back, they have a bio on Dionne, plus the extended version of the album cover. And it has everything in Korean. That's pretty cool. And then the disc, it's pretty clean, nope, just a regular Arsta label. And like I said, it does sound pretty good on vinyl. Yeah, no issues or anything. So yeah, definitely check this out. And again, let me know what you think in the comments. And thanks again for watching. Have a great day.